Time for some soul leveling cut content. We got episode 2 cut content. Sung Jinwoo versus Baruka. Not Barca, bro. Baruka. The S rank boss fight. Really? Is he actually considered S rank? I mean, he was like doing 1v3 and more. Let's get it, Aninews.
Okay, this was pretty cool. Scenes like this are actually anime original, and I'm one.
My favorite scene, bro. Catching the this scene was crazy.
Pretty cool.
Boom.
Scenes like this are actually anime original, and I'm 100% here for all of it.
Thank you.
Just like how it was with episode 1 though, a lot of the finer details focusing on the people around Sung couldn't make it due to how much they need to cover this season. There was also a bit more to Sung.
Is it happening, really? Really? I mean, it's all over the place. People are like, yeah, it's happening. And some people are like, no, it's not happening. Is it happening?
Cover this season. There was also a bit more to Sung's grind in the Red Gate, so if you want to see just how much he leveled up, along with what you may have missed from his boss fight against Baruka, that's exactly what we're gonna talk about this video. It's all the differences between the anime, the manga,
I love the R moment.
Let's get started. Episode 14. I suppose you aren't.
No ad segue. I missed it. I was like, oh shit, he's about to do an ad segue. No ad.
Aware. Covering chapters 53 to 55 from the manhwa and chapters 63 to 66 from the web novel. To start things from the very beginning of the Red Gate incident, I want to focus on who Sung was with first. Reason being that, as new recruits from the White Tiger Guild, this was actually their very first time doing a dungeon raid.
They're newbies?
How then were they so composed when plunged into the Red Gate?
Kimchul.
Well, that's because they were taught that anything could happen.
Okay.
Each and every one of them had already gone through extensive training outside the gates. That being the case, the fact this was their first raid didn't mean that they were ill-prepared, it just meant they were inexperienced.
Okay.
As soon as this gate was completed, all of them were set to start doing high-rank dungeons. It essentially made this nothing more than a practice run for the 12 of them.
The tutorial eventually became just like the worst thing ever. Even Kim Chora, like they were all newbies. They got assigned pretty high ranks, they've been training, they just need actual combat experience now. Wanted to give them like a really nice little tiny gate, and then it turned into be a red gate, womp womp.
There being 12 was actually one of the differences the anime didn't show us, since here we saw that they only had 8 hunters. The full strike squad consisted of 1 A rank, 7 B ranks, and 4 C ranks. Completely overkill for what a C rank gate normally required, but made sense since this was, after all, practice. Now, an interesting property which made this gate visibly different from the outside was the strange viscous nature with which it absorbed people. Normally the surface was supposed to return to being solid as soon as someone entered, but for some reason this one kept rippling like a liquid.
The anomaly. I mean, didn't he literally say like there were, what were they? Anomalies in like the gate, mana fluctuations, but someone was like, nah, it's not a big deal, let's just overlook it. But that was like, the red gate could have been prevented. That's probably something to tie in with this.
It even clung to Sung's hand like glue the moment he touched it, resulting in its ability to swallow him whole.
Swallow?
So the gate would turn red and the White Tiger Guild would call Beck, leading to that whole outburst where he would express his anger towards the association. It didn't really matter that they got the reading wrong now though, since whether it was initially C, B, or A ranked, the fact the gate was red now trumped all of that. Besides, they couldn't even remeasure the gate if they wanted to, since red gates had the distinct property of leaking 0 magical energy. It's just that Beck knew from personal experience red gates were incredibly dangerous.
He's been in them before?
So much so that he was ready to count all those who were trapped as KIA. A new character had actually arrived right after Beck to dissuade that.
What is this guy? Chu Song-chan. His glasses are very cool. Something about his like hairstyle and his glasses, I don't know, there's a mismatch there. Aura farming.
Notion, basically saying how Kim Chul would be able to pull through for them.
Sure.
The reason this man was so invested in Kim was because he was the chief of the White Tiger Guild's 1st division.
Okay.
The team responsible for prepping those who would be on the main strike force.
It's like the Kim Chul is like his prized possession, right? It's just like, it's our boys, we got this shit ready, don't worry, he's there.
Training was usually handled by On's 2nd division, but any hunters ranked A or higher were always handled by Sung-chan's 1st division.
Okay.
It was mandatory for them to go through a more specialized and intense training regiment. So, because Sung-chan knew firsthand just how capable Kim Chul was, he truly believed he wouldn't fall behind any of the White Tiger Guild's main hunters.
He didn't though. right? No, I mean he honestly survived by himself too. It's just that he couldn't keep up with Sung Jin-woo, and do you blame him? No one can do that. At least not the people in this gate.
Let alone a measly E-rank unsuspected reawakened. This was its own little conflict outside the gate, essentially showing the competition between the White Tiger Guild's 1st Division and 2nd Division.
Cool.
On didn't seem all too into it, but it seems 1st Division is always trying to show up 2nd Division.
There's a lot of infighting happening in the guild that we don't even know anything about. It's cool to see how much like fleshed out world building there is, but to the anime watchers, it's just like they probably would have never even guessed that there's such a thing happening within the White Tiger Guild.
In any case, Beck had actually gone on to explain why it is red gates are always so fatal for hunters. First, you never know where you're gonna end up, so you could be teleported anywhere from a scorching desert with 60 degrees Celsius temperatures, all the way to a poison-filled jungle or snow-covered wasteland.
I wonder how lucky we got. Like, the snow-covered wasteland that we were into. It might have not been the worst role.
This makes preparing near impossible, since unless you bring equipment ready for everywhere, you're probably gonna be caught off guard in at least one way or the other. So, it's these unexpected conditions that often lead to the weakest dying first, since not only do you have to acclimate to the new environment around you, but you also have to do so while fighting high-level monsters. It was a challenging feat that only the truly strong could possibly pull through from. All that was just the bare minimum though, since even
Bare minimum, get it?
after acclimating and surviving, you still had to find a way to procure food and water. Sure, you could enter with enough food to last for weeks, but with red gates lasting up to several months, eventually you would need to provide for yourself. The only truly helpful tool to help you get through this was your magic energy compass guiding you to the boss.
Compass?
With this pointing you in the direction of the most powerful source
We have
of
that?
magical energy, it would eventually get you to the boss. It's just you might be following it for weeks or months. So, with unforgiving surroundings, constant hunger, and the looming
And Jinwoo doesn't even need a compass, huh? Because, like, his perception, it already, like, traces mana. So, like, he can just figure that shit out himself. Also, the horse again here. That's always so cool.
presence of monsters, a red gate truly was one of the most challenging endeavors a hunter could go through. It was totally justifiable for Beck to think that no one would make it.
Ooh, did you watch the new episode? Did you read the rules in the chat? Ask if or when we've watched something equals 14-day vacation. Should I send you on a 14-day vacation? Your next message will determine your fate. Justify why I shouldn't send you for 2 weeks. Make me laugh with your next message. No time for gamba. Come on. Come on. You're not gonna say anything? Then I'm gonna just give you 14. Come on, make me laugh. I'm sorry, sir. What a pussy. I'm gonna send you for 14, actually. I can't believe you backed out there and said, I'm sorry, sir. Watch the next episode, please. That, like, it pisses me off how weak that is. Where's the fucking... Why can't I do this anymore? Did this change? Do I have to do this? Where does it go? Huh. I guess it was the 7TV. I guess it's a 7T. Can I do this? Can I drag you? Huh. We removed the extension. So, like, now suddenly there's no, like, duration of, like, 14 days anymore. Where did it go? Hold up. No, I gotta figure this shit out right now. 24 hours only? No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. What the hell? What is up with this new fucking layout? Better TV is way more nice than 7TV. 7TV had up to like 2 weeks. I can't even drag his name. Yo, we need 7TV back, man. We need 7TV. You know what? You get an 8-hour timeout for now. Then all right. I guess the 2-week vacation is just better TV is too benevolent. Yeah, interface changes are fucking annoying. We've been dealing with so much goddamn extension changes. Anyways, let's go back to the content.
Truly was one of the most challenging endeavors a hunter could go through. It was totally justifiable for Beck to think that no one would make it. Now, Before we get to what was happening inside the gate, the last thing I want to mention from outside was a couple details related to Huang Dongsu.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't here at all in the novels, but in the manhwa he had found Sung by tracking his records with the association. He then immediately sniffed out that An was covering up for him, not because he knew that An was good at scouting, but rather because he just had a solid intuition on when something fun was happening.
Intuition? Bro just had a gut instinct? Ah, you gotta be the one doing it.
Consider it a personal sixth sense of his.
I mean, he was right.
To finally get to what was happening inside the gate, I suppose the best place to start is with this. Sung really didn't like the cheap tactic the Ice Elves opened with, leading him to
Again, just like more scenes that we never seen in the anime. Sung Jin-woo is presented as just this cold, ruthless, emotionless figure in the anime, but the webtoon just shows so much.
hold a personal grudge against the ones who tried it. It's actually why he snapped the arrow right in front of them. He wanted them to know that he was pissed. Of course, the two elves only saw this as a challenge, leading them to make that motion in return directed right towards Sung. I know that's not really all that different from what we saw in the anime, but it does highlight the more aggressive Sung the novel version of him is known to be.
Yeah, this is the thing that people are complaining about, right? That the arrow scene that the webtoon was better. Not the initial arrow scene in the beginning that we saw of him just going crazy, but this one. Where in the anime, again, this is just a blank look of him just staring. If we had more of like Sung Jin-woo just being really angry expression, I feel like it would just add more to the story, but they just don't want to do that to him in the anime.
He definitely flexes more here than he does in the manhwa or anime. Now, when Kim went on to enact his plan, he was so intent on clearing the gate that he was actually ready to do so by himself if need be. The way he spoke was so assuringly confident, though, that wasn't a problem he would have to worry about. Instead, there was a bit more back and forth between him.
That armor is so unnecessary thick on him. Holy shit, look at this dude. His tiny ass head here with the rest of the armor.
And the lower hunters, eventually resulting in him calling them baggage. This
baggage?
was an insult they were very happy with, but the moment Kim glared in their general direction, they immediately backed down since, well, what else could they do?
Nothing.
The groups would then split into the ones we saw, giving Sung the opportunity to get to know the White Tiger Hunters better. It's here he'd learn why it was they weren't very afraid, but that confidence was something he knew would disappear quickly. Reason being that Sung knew firsthand no amount of training could prepare them for the life and death situations awaiting them. To know something was far different from experiencing it.
Practical
All these
experience.
hunters were doing were simply showing off, not realizing just how terrifying the gate truly was.
Like, none of them have actually dealt with this shit. They are powerful by rank only. They've trained, but like, none of that shit matters when you go out and perform, bro. Like, no matter how much you practice, if you've played like sports or anything, you'd know that like practice and the actual game is totally different. It's all mental, and if you've never done it real life, no amount of simulation training could actually help you get ready for it.
As soon as they see what's exactly at stake, Sung knew their false confidence would come crashing down on top of them. I mean, for the many years it took to build that confidence up, a single moment was all it took to break it down. Such was the unfortunate fate awaiting these rookies. Heejin would then get to know Sung a bit herself, basically probing to find out why it is she felt so confident in him.
Everyone did, right? Even Kim Cha was like, huh, I just naturally feel like he's the leader. I didn't even realize though, he's an E rank. Why would I think that he's the leader?
Though he never answered her questions, his true confidence combined with what she believed she saw him do made her all but certain he was strong.
True, she did see the arrow catch too. He's the alpha of the group.
She had barely pieced together the way that Sung had moved here, but her experience as a top athlete and her awakening into a melee hunter made her confident in her dynamic vision.
She's a melee hunter?
It all served to reinforce her assumptions even more.
Okay.
Now, for more context on why Sung felt more confident in the forest, well, the fact the elves were wearing pelts made from bears made it clear the bears were weaker than the elves.
True.
Part of the danger of a dungeon was not knowing what would pop out when, so to remove that element of uncertainty was actually a huge advantage. The coats and boots only cost 10 gold each, so out of the 400...
Listen, I'm just repeating what Aninews is saying. Sure, she's a mage, she has a wand. I'm just repeating what he's saying. It's like, okay, she's a melee hunter, sure. Like, what do you want me to fucking do about it? These are rhetorical observations I'm making.
130,000 he had earned up to this point. The items he bought here pretty much cost him nothing. unlike items with special effects added to them, regular items like these didn't cost a lot at all.
Jackets are free?
So Sung would
Almost?
prep his group and kill the bear, then gain a level up and become the group's leader. It was an immediate suggestion since this was the moment Heejin knew that she made the right call after all. Now she just feared that Sung might leave and do his own thing.
This girl is so fucking shocked at the jacket. No, it's not the jacket. It's the fact that Jinwoo just destroyed the bear so easily and then gave everyone jackets.
So rather than wait for that to happen, she quickly suggested that Sung become their leader officially.
Leader of the pack.
It was a role Sung figured would make things easiest for him. 3 days would then pass with the weak hunters living it up, all while Sung would hunt bears like he had some sort of vendetta against them. The way his eyes lit up every time he saw them truly was terrifying for those who got to witness it. It definitely made people curious about what his true rank was, but out of fear of being kicked out of the only safe haven here, the group decided not to talk about it further.
There's so much little interpersonal details happening that was never presented in the anime. Like, people like you thinking like, oh my god, Jin was like, this guy's different. What is he doing? I don't want to upset him though.
So, in this first instance where Sung had come across what he could only describe as a bear farm, his shadow army got to show us why they were at least better than a pack of beasts. Whereas beasts fought mindlessly, Sung's army not only had the ability to regenerate, but also cooperated in a way that made them a pretty cohesive unit.
Okay.
Like, the mages could bombard the whole battlefield with magic, knowing full well the infantry would regenerate and get right back in there. This was what gave them the advantage, since the weakened bears could no longer defend against the unrelenting onslaught of the soldiers. In the end, it increased their levels from 1 to either 2 or 3.
So the soldiers can grow in levels, and they can continuously regenerate as long as we have mana supplying them.
Their work had also raised Sung's own level by 3 as well. More bears could then be heard in the distance, which, as you'd expect, made Sung smile knowing he'd be able to get to them tomorrow.
Bear
To
farming!
switch things over to Kim Chul's side of the story now, it wasn't just the Ice Elves which had caused his defeat here. First, they had fought in to beat snowmen, then they lost 2 in a subsequent fight against some Ice Yetis.
What the fuck? Damn, this design, I wish we got to see one of these things fighting, man. This guy looks even stronger than the boss bear.
After which the Ice Elves would pounce to get the jump on them. They were sneakily waiting for Kim's team to exhaust themselves before launching their own attack. So, in an instant, all the hunters except Kim were dead, leaving him to witness the barbaric nature of who he was up against. Like, the elves had gone so far as to taunt Kim with the decapitated head of his comrade. It was the action which spurred him to run away in terror.
I love that scene though. I love that anime original scene where you heard the like, could you call this anime original though? It's like, it's kind of like this moment, but it's just that the anime interpretation, they did a whole different type of like audio filter to make it sound way more like creepy and dangerous.
Action which spurred him to run away in terror. It didn't matter that he was running into ice bear territory, since compared to the snowmen, yetis, and ice elves, they were very much the least of his worries. Another 2 days would pass with Sung still farming bears, clearing a few more farms worth to the point that they were nearing extinction. At least him.
Sung Jinwoo is a menace to natural society, bro. Extinction? The bears are going extinct here? For what? For EXP.
And his shadows got to level up from them. So much so that where before his shadows would need to fight 2-on-1 to win, now they could pull off a victory 1-on-1.
1v1!
His increased proficiency had even leveled up his shadow storage limit to a max of 30 now.
Cool.
It was at this point that
soldiers
Sung felt he should hunt the boss, since with no more bears to farm levels from and a dungeon break still several months out, there wasn't much value in sticking around anymore.
Is this episode 2 cut content? Is this not episode 1 so far? Wait. I know the title is labeled episode 2, but like, everything that we've done so far has just been bear farming. Is this episode 1? Episode 2 wasn't that immediately we're just fighting Baruka? Anyways.
Besides, he also had to find that one elf that pissed him off back here. Though 5 days had passed, Sung still hated how it mocked him and the other hunters. Now, in the meantime, Kim was completely starved, surviving only off a measly rabbit ever since he'd stepped foot here. That's why he was able to pick up the scent of food so easily, and it's also why he was so quick to anger.
Bro got so triggered, and this is not an anime original moment either. There was a fisheye lens scene too in the webtoon. He saw the glizzies in the jacket, just like, this is why I lost. I didn't have your winter jackets.
At this point, he was essentially ravenous. In fact, even if the food he smelled was coming from a camp of ice elves, his hunger made him believe that he could subdue them and get away with it. Kim was so hungry that he couldn't even make simple logical decisions anymore.
He was ravenous here. He lost all sense of like intellect. He was crashing out, giving an ultimatum saying like, give me the food or you fucking die right now. I'm gonna count to 3.
That's when he would find the hunters, lash out at what he believed to be betrayal, then get slapped so hard that Sung's hand would start steaming from the impact.
Oh, in the webtoon, he just kind of slapped him, huh? A little smack and he fell to the ground. In the anime, it was more like dunk into the ground.
The elves would then make their entrance, revealing the boss whose aura was way stronger than all the others.
I think the horse has better aura. I still stand by it that the horse has more aura than Baruka here.
It was so oppressive that Sung couldn't help but get goosebumps from it.
The webtoon does a really good job in conveying like the menacing, sinister smiles. All the ice elves have this cocky, evil look. It's just done so well. It's definitely like the wide smile that perks up with the eyes that also like has this like half moon, like inverted like half moon. You know what I'm saying? Like a U-shape eye.
The rest were grunts he knew he could easily take care of, mainly because his recent level grind made him that much stronger. Now, this particular elf was actually the one Sung had it out for, so rather than dash towards him and take his head himself, he instead just threw his dagger at a speed it couldn't even react to.
Oh, okay.
It was a kill I'm sure Sung was extremely satisfied with.
That's pretty BM. Throwing a dagger? That's way more like what in the anime he did like flash step and took off the head. That was really cool. But I feel like just throwing a dagger and just like sniping him is way more disrespectful.
This brings us to the interesting conversation Sung had shared with Baruka, which, though filled with hints that should have got Sung thinking, didn't really trigger any thoughts at all.
The system.
He chalked up the not human comment as him just being a player, while the stutter and lack of reaction to it made it clear probing for information was useless.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be able to hear this shit, right? We're not supposed to understand at this point.
It was no doubt some bona fide NPC behavior, but that didn't matter to Sung at all. No. The only thing that did was being able to turn Baruka into a shadow soldier.
But we couldn't!
This was the only thing Sung could think about ever since Baruka made his entrance, and it's probably why he didn't think too deeply about anything else. Sung just wanted a new soldier and the cool-looking daggers he possessed.
I wonder if he did turn Baruka into a shadow, that we could converse with them, and maybe you could ask, like, what are you really? Now, I don't really see Igris or Iron talking. I don't see the soldiers really communicating with words, so maybe it's kind of hard to converse and be like, hey, teach me what you meant by, like, I'm not a human.
Of course, Sung knew he couldn't beat Baruka alone, so what he needed to find was another strong ally. This leads to a fake out with Kim, since the way Sung kicks his sword towards him like he's seeking his help makes it seem like he's doing so in order to team up with him.
Okay.
Obviously that wasn't the case, but as the reader we don't yet suspect that Sung is baiting Kim into becoming a shadow soldier himself. So, while Sung was getting cut and sliced in his fight with Baruka, Kim finally woke up to find his sword next to him. This was incredibly lucky for both of them because Sung knew he wouldn't be able to last much longer, and Kim saw his opportunity.
Yeah, he was losing.
In the manhwa, Kim got skewered like this, then there was another cool panel where we see Sung casting a rise in the shadow of Igris' cape.
Oh! Damn. Damn, this arc was crazy. I love the eye here. The single glowing eye. And everything is like faded up dark, right? Damn, this is crazy. But like the anime did a great job too in the way that it had like Kim Chora and Baruka both like coming in at both fronts. And there's like this like tornado gust of wind that happens and then Iron pulls up out of nowhere. I don't know. Both like the webtoon does a really great job. I wasn't disappointed at all by the anime either. The anime made it also very ambiguous. It's like, where the hell did this guy come from? It's just like, wait a minute. Could this be Kim Chora? There's no way, right? I don't know. Both are really cool.
panel where we see Sung casting a rise in the shadow of Igris's cape. Though the anime didn't show it, it was while Sung was busy doing so that Igris went on to distract Baruka. This was a good way to show just how strong Baruka was, since Igris barely served as a challenge to him. It didn't take long for Baruka to slice right through him. In
Damn.
fact, the only reason Igris wasn't defeated completely was because he was able to rely heavily on his regeneration abilities. Now, Sung's choice of name for iron was because Chul in Korean meant iron. His grade of a shadow was the same as Igris's at night grade, then though his towering stature made keeping up with agile opponents difficult.
Night grade, same with Igris. I didn't realize that there were like different grades of shadows. Okay, so it's like the same tier as Igris. I'm probably gonna think Igris is still stronger. Well, you're comparing like a swordsman versus like a tank warrior. Different types, right? But same tier. Char being iron. Again, it's just like the literal representation of that Korean word.
His innate aggro skills Shadow Provocation made such a limitation unimportant. Iron instead made his opponents come to him.
Taunt.
This too saved Igris from being defeated completely, since the moment Baruka was about to land the finishing blow, Shadow Provocation immediately switched his focus from Igris to him. Reinforcement was another skill allowing Iron to tank all of Baruka's attacks, creating time for Sung and Igris to join the battle together. At first, there wasn't much all three could do, but with each subsequent hit they managed to land, these small cuts and bruises started to reduce Baruka's agility ever so slowly. It wasn't long before Baruka's smile was gone, and with each dodge reducing his already depleted stamina, it was only a matter of time before he was finished, just like how we saw in the anime.
Unfair fight. Baruka got robbed. He was so strong, man. 1v3 the entire time.
In the end, the entire fight had
Look at that ass.
Sung 2 whole levels. For Miss Park, who was watching the fight, she was most worried about how she was going to explain all this. She seemed to be on the side of keeping Sung's secrets, so that was a message she was trying to convey to the others.
I wish that Jinwoo kind of like, I don't know, like snuck up behind them and like threatened them. They're like, if you leak this shit out to the public, I'll kill you.
Like, just the fact they were even able to think about what they were going to do outside the gate, well, that was only possible because of him. Her own personal feelings were now far beyond that of shock or gratefulness, and were now simply at a stage of awe.
Okay.
It's an important feeling to understand, since it'll come up again in some cutscenes I'm sure will be involving her next episode.
Are we actually gonna see her more and more? Maybe I thought the anime would just like drop her because she's not that important of a character compared to like the webtoon giving more details.
The last thing I want to talk about in this episode is the minor spat between Sung and Beck after the gate.
This is a great moment.
The main reason why Beck had backed off at all was because Sung's message was actually pretty valid, and the immense pressure he applied along with it made it clear he wasn't to be messed with right now.
I loved it, bro. Of how he was like, this many people died in the gate. Why are you out? What happened? And Jim was like, I fucking saved this many people. Fuck you. Love how he immediately like stood up against Beck and is like, all right, fair.
Now, this was enough for Beck to become invested in Sung, since not just anyone could stand up to him the way that Sung just did. Not only that, but Beck could tell from Sung's powerful aura that if the two were to fight right here and now, he would need to be ready to lose an arm or worse.
Okay.
That's just how strong Sung had become after the Red Gate.
Is he S rank now? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more. There is definitely gonna be a re-ranking gonna be happening. The trailer confirmed it directly that Sung Jin-woo will be reassessed again. So he needs to be S rank. There's no way that we go to A rank, bro. And then we re-rank again. There's no way. We have to be S rank soon.
So, given that this was the impression Beck got from Sung, Beck was ready to give On literally every resource to acquire him.
Poach him.
It didn't matter how much money it would take. Beck wanted Sung.
Whore out Cha Hae-in. Poach him. Cha Hae-in is actually not part of White Tiger Guild though, right? Cha Hae-in is part of the Aizen looking guy. The that guild is literally the Hunters Guild. That dude had the audacity to call his guild the Hunters Guild. Which again, just think about that. Think about that name, bro. You're going out, like everyone's guild is like Lightning Blade, Tiger Claw, Hunters Guild. It's like, this is the Hunters Guild. Alright, sure, bro.
In the White Tiger Guild now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode.
Diddy Woo! Make some comments about Diddy Woo!
Sung's new dagger buffed his stats by this, and its Grade of A made it perfect to replace Kasuka's Fang, which was becoming less and less effective lately.
Alright, no more Kasuka's Fang. Yeah, that was like a... Kasuka is a way shitty rank compared to Baruka. So this is, it'll reduce the weight of the wielder, allowing for greater agility. Oh! The blade doesn't get lighter. The wielder himself gets lighter. Cool, okay.
Oh, and the car scene does in fact happen in the manhwa too.
Oh, Diddy Woo! Okay. Legal agent, your point. So, anyways.
Anyway, if you liked what you saw and want to see more solo leveling, then
Yes,
feel free to
sir.
leave a like and subscribe.
Of course. Thank you, Aninews, again, with the great cut content. I was like, is this episode 1 cut content? Nah, he's doing a little bit of follow-up from the end of episode 1 and episode 2 as well. The reaction will be up soon. Don't worry, guys. It's coming. It's coming. See you next time. Go give Aninews a like on the video, though. Go sub to his channel if you haven't. See you next time.